International OCD Foundation. My name is Maria Bamford, and I am very nervous to do this speech. I talked to my therapist though, and he said, what's the worst thing that could happen? What's the best thing that could happen? And what will probably happen? That's a great CBT exercise. Well, what the worst thing is going to happen is that this entire speech would be bundled and put into different memes and then broadcast worldwide in a way that I would become a worldwide object of evil, and I would be imprisoned for some reason. You'll see why by the end of this video. And I'd be not put into solitary confinement, which I might find better, actually put in a common area with all the other prisoners, but the TVs would be playing this speech that everyone would hate me for, and then I would never die. What's the best thing that could happen as a result of this? I would become light and air and laughter, and nothing would bother me anymore, and I'd be able to live on hot fudge sundaes and receive $1 billion. Yes? What will probably happen is this will last about 15 minutes, and then I'll receive payment for it from the OCD Foundation within 90 days. Don't worry. I have done everything possible to make sure that this presentation is going to be perfect. I've gone through it 6 times, which is the perfect number. I am 125 pounds again. Ooh, the right one. And my mother is praying for me. I started having the taboo, unwanted thoughts, harm OCD when I was about 9 years old. I stopped being able to sleep at night, and I went and I told my mom about it. I basically told her a version of, Mom, listen up, I can't sleep at night because I'm worried I'm gonna chop people up into chunks and bits. Like all you guys. Have sex with those chunks and bits, put those chunks and bits on a Cobb salad, and then feed it to the baby Jesus. She said, honey, it is okay if you're gay. All right, a little off, but she cared enough about me to send me to therapy. And it was the 70s, so I was sent to a nun who was unlicensed. And the great thing about this terrible healthcare, and it was not free, was that I got to take a nap. She would lay a blanket over me, and I would fall asleep. She did do a little bit of damage in that she added to some of my OCD fears. She sent me a book called Hind's Feet in High Places, which is an extremely disturbing allegorical book, bestseller in the 70s, about a young lady named Much Afraid, who's from the family of the Fearings, living in the Valley of Humiliation, and is forced married to her cousin, Craven Fear. The only person who can save her, the shepherd, God, says that she has to have this painful burning seed poked into her chest while she is forced to climb out of the valley into the mountains. Not only all these factors, but she is cripplingly disfigured and very unattractive. I'm not sure what the nun was trying to say, but I appreciated it. I kept my thoughts to myself, and they tortured me for many years, up until I was 19. How did I deal with it? Well, I dealt with it by smishing my eyes closed, gripping my hands whenever the thoughts came up, keeping my hands under my legs, and then avoiding all human contact. Fantastic. I also developed an eating disorder. What? A white woman was bulimic? How did it start? Yes. And my dad sent me to a Dale Carnegie training course when I was struggling so hard I didn't have a ton of friends. And that actually helped me have ways of speaking to people in formats. So I could get away from the OCD anxiety and focus on, hey, Jill, I love what you're wearing, Jill. Hey, Jill, if I told you that you could be a millionaire, Jill, what would you say? Would you be interested? Yes. Get a person saying yes, yes, yes. It's a fantastic way to make friends. I turned 19, and because of the eating disorder, I called a suicide hotline. They hooked me up with a 12-step group. Again, controlled communication, and it is free. And it is not perfect. It is not that great. The one thing, though, that I have to say about free, shitty-ass 12-step groups are they can't kick you out. Even if I go to a meeting with a bottle of Jack Daniels and I'm eating an ice cream cake with a stolen porn DVD, all they'll say is, "Oh, you a newcomer? Keep coming back." It's fantastic. But it is slightly culty, just heads up. I'm in about 5 of them. Then I also started doing stand-up, which is just like 12-step. 3 to 5 minute timed people just shouting out their world perspective to a group of slightly disinterested people with a cup of coffee, or maybe they have a half Diet Pepsi, half Crayon. It was a great solution for me for a while as a way to connect with other people. Cut to, and I didn't have many long-term relationships, really avoided lots of different experiences, especially any alone time with friends or family members alone, children, animals. At the age of 30, I thought, this is ridiculous, because for one thing, I had money, and I was like, I gotta do this. I can't be. I'm middle class now. Oh, it's so awful. So I went to go see a therapist because I had insurance. I told her what my thoughts were, and unfortunately, she was not trained in OCD. So what she said was, "Hey, I'm a mandated reporter. I need to give somebody a jingle right now." Thankfully, I had done enough Dale Carnegie training that I said, "What if I said, Doctor, is it Dr. Vartanian? Dr. Vartanian, if I could get you out of not doing any more paperwork today, would you want to get out of it? Yes?" I'm gonna head out as quickly as possible, and because I knew I wasn't a danger, I had no desire to do these things, but what if? That's the wonderful thing about OCD. What if? I'm not sure. So then what happened is years went by, and I got to the age of 35, and I said to myself again, the internet. Why don't I just look on the internet? Typed into a search engine, creepy, unwanted thoughts, plus my zip code. Up came Dr. Rodney Boone of CBT Associates in Glendale, California. I gave him a call. We set an appointment. Yes, it was $150. Yes. But I had that cash on the barrelhead and went to see him. He was so bored by all the things. So yeah, okay, yeah. Well, here's what you need to do. You need to record yourself saying that that's happening in real time, and then you just put it on a tape recorder, then play it for yourself over and over again. And then I want you to go do something that you're really frightened to do because you're worried you're going to act on this. Say, you're going to chop a dear friend up into chunks and bits, and you're chopping them up into chunks and bits, and having sex with the chunk of bits, putting the chunks and bits out, cops out, and then feeding it to the baby Jesus. Say that out loud as it's happening, and then go visit your friend and just see what happens. Ooh, bold call. That I'm just gonna see what happens. I did not tell my friend Cynthia that's why I was coming for a visit for 2 hours. And I did it. I went and I listened to the tape over and over again, and nothing happened except that my anxiety went to a level that I had never before experienced. And then I got bored. So fantastic. I went and saw Dr. Rodney Moon, I believe 4 more times, and I was cured of an experience that had plagued me for a long time. Let's just say 26 years. So, yay team. Now, I want to acknowledge that I'm coming from a place of privilege. I had the money. Go get whatever free shitty ass healthcare you can get, because even if it's terrible, I signed up with that betterhelp.com. The therapist just texted me, "Christine, of course you're stressed, you just had a baby." And it was helpful. Call Domino's. I once called the operator and I said, "Hey, would you still love someone if they were flunking out of college?" The guy said yes. I got a perfect stranger to tell me that they love me for free. Again, 12-step groups. Wherever you need to go, call Domino's. They'll always pick up. Now, what is it like now? That's a great question. I am married, and my husband, one of the things he knows about is that I had this type of OCD. His mom had it her whole life and was hospitalized for it as a result of some misunderstanding, lack of education about it. I've also been hospitalized for bipolar about 10 years ago. I went off the rails a bit, and with feeling terribles. And I made the mistake of I decided I was a bit amped, and I decided to tell the psychiatrist on call that weekend. I was in there for a voluntary 72-hour hold just because I was worried I was going to hurt myself. I had depression. And he did not understand OCD, so I took it on myself in a very excitable way to educate him. That did not go well, in that he said, "Hey, I need to keep you for 10 days because you are a danger to society." Uh-oh. All right, even though I've been crouching in a corner because there's too much energy in my legs for the past 72 hours. All right, okay. Oh my goodness. Anyways, it's not easy out there. Take care of yourself. Yeah. I think, a few more things to say. Just that things are good. I do take meds. I think medicine is the best medicine. Laughter, depends on what kind of comedy you like. And yeah, I'm just really grateful for organizations like the LCD Foundation that provide education for not only people like me who need to know more about something that's often misunderstood and I'm terrified of, but also for friends and family and the medical community. One thing that's been hard for me, I don't know if you relate, is that sometimes the mental health community has borrowed a phrase from the LGBTQ movement saying it gets better. Sometimes. Does it stay better? I don't know. It's an illness. Don't feel bad if you end up feeling terrible airbles. I have a friend who has the mentals and has done everything, has had a thing implanted in his brain to do deep brain stimulation. He's taken all the meds. He's gotten ECT 100 times. He's moved next to the ocean for whatever that's supposed to be good for. He's married, he's in groups, he's does sweat lodges, for God's sakes. And sometimes he still feels like crap and has to be hospitalized. Yeah. You're okay. You're doing okay. Or not. Especially if you're not doing okay. You're okay. I was at the funeral for a comedian who committed suicide. Don't wait for it. And whenever there's an obituary for somebody who dies of suicide, it always they always list the number for the suicide hotline, and I know that's helpful. I've called it myself. But I always feel like it's a little condescending. Like, yeah, I know what the number is. I'm depressed. I've tried to kill myself. I'm not a moron. Text 741-741 talk. It just feels like, you have someone who dies of drowning, and then there's an ad for a raft. But I was at this funeral, and after the service, I overheard some people talking. It's just the single most selfish thing he could have done. He had 2 kids and his wife.
I know, she's gorgeous.
And you know what I think the single most selfish thing you do? I think blaming someone for their own death at their funeral. I think that is the single most selfish thing that you could do. No. You know what I think? Writing down the premise for this joke at the funeral of the comedian died of suicide. That is truly the single most selfish thing you can do. Remember, he had 2 kids, and don't forget to mention how pretty his wife is. Let us never forget how good looking all of us are, especially now. Quick check-in. 17 minutes, okay? It's almost done, and I have to tell you that this whole speech has been a flooding exercise. I'm not 125 pounds at all. I'm 132.6. And I only rehearsed this 4 times. Not 6, 4 times. And my mother isn't praying for me at all. I wish you the best, and thank you so much for listening. And yes, go out and face your fears. Let someone like Dr. Boone accompany you to a hospital dumpster, and put your hand on the outside, or maybe sit in the middle of it. See how that feels.